saying that I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon.
Candace Owens might want to start planning a move to Africa, because if the alleged forces behind Charlie Kirk's death get involved, she could be fleeing for her safety, just like Dave Chappelle did nearly 2 decades ago. Lately, Candace has dominated headlines, going on an unrelenting crusade to expose what she claims are false narratives concocted by the FBI and certain Israeli billionaires to cover up Charlie's death. Remarkably, she's been even more fearless than Erica, Charlie's widow, a feat that underscores how extraordinary her public spiral has been. Things escalated to the point that she was slapped with a gag order, attempting to silence her. But true to form, Candace immediately took to X, defiantly announcing that she would fully flout the order and keep speaking her truth. Candace Owens isn't holding back, and she's made it clear that she intends to violate the gag order in Charlie Kirk's case on behalf of the public. In her own words, "The things I've uncovered this past week are enough to burn the house down." Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone. But what exactly has she revealed? And why are comparisons to Dave Chappelle swirling? Candace Owens has spent the last several weeks on an unrelenting crusade for answers, publicly challenging the FBI, questioning powerful donors tied to Israel, and refusing to let the official narrative surrounding Charlie Kirk's death go unexamined. What began as subtle skepticism has evolved into a full-blown investigation of her own, with Candace peeling back the layers of secrecy that have surrounded the case since day one. Each new video she releases seems to push the boundaries a little further, drawing the viewers who sense that something about the story doesn't add up. Her tone has grown sharper, her claims bolder, and her willingness to confront uncomfortable truths almost fearless. What makes her approach so striking is her refusal to bow to public pressure or personal attacks. Even after being shut out of Charlie's memorial by his widow, Erica Kirk, Candace continued pressing forward. The exclusion only deepened her conviction that something was being hidden, and she wasn't alone in that suspicion. In one of her recent broadcasts, Candace described the decision to bar her as an attempt to control the narrative, suggesting that anyone who questioned the official version of events was being silenced. To her, Erica's behavior was less about grief and more about guarding secrets. But the questions didn't start after Charlie's death. They began weeks before it, when rumors first surfaced about a tense gathering in the Hamptons. According to multiple sources, an intervention was organized there by Phil Amon, a longtime associate of Charlie's who allegedly worried that the conservative commentator was becoming too outspoken about his shifting views on Israel and its political influence in the U.S. Witnesses, described the atmosphere as charged and hostile. What was supposed to be a friendly discussion spiraled into an ambush of sorts, with voices raised and threats allegedly exchanged. Those present claim that Charlie, known for his assertive confidence, seemed shaken by the end of the night. Candace has made this Hamptons episode central to her theory. She believes it marked the turning point, a moment when Charlie's independence became dangerous to those funding him. In her telling, the friends who gathered that night weren't there out of concern but control. They wanted to keep him in line. When he refused, she claims they saw him as a liability. While journalists like Max Blumenthal and other independent reporters have tried to verify these details, concrete proof has been elusive. The people who were supposedly there have stayed silent, and those who might have evidence, emails, photos, or messages have yet to release anything. Still, the lack of receipts hasn't stopped Candace. If anything, it has fueled her determination. To her followers, she has become the lone voice brave enough to speak out against a system that seems increasingly rigged. Whether she's right or wrong, one thing is undeniable. Candace Owens has forced the world to look twice at a story many thought was already settled. And in doing so, she's put herself directly in the line of fire. During this period, Charlie was allegedly pressured into going to Israel under duress and offered substantial financial incentives to support a pro-Israel agenda, which he refused. Candace's leaks revealed private group chat messages showing Charlie discussing how he lost a $2 million donation from one of these sponsors because he wouldn't compromise his stance. Despite the pressure, He made it clear to the 7 unidentified contacts he was communicating with that he wouldn't be bullied or coerced, even if it meant defying powerful figures. According to Candace, the day before his death, Charlie confided in 3 people that he anticipated something was coming for him, an ominous sense that has only intensified scrutiny and speculation.
I'm now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie.
Candace Owens didn't just stop with Charlie Kirk's case. She widened her scope, pulling Marjorie Taylor Greene into the conversation in a way that sent social media spiraling. Candace pointed out how, out of nowhere, Marjorie felt compelled to publicly declare that she was not suicidal and that if anything ever happened to her, people should look toward government, a thinly veiled reference to Israel. Many saw this as Marjorie's way of protecting herself amid unseen pressure. In her post, Marjorie wrote that she was one of the happiest and healthiest people anyone could meet, grounded in faith and fully trusting in God's grace. Yet her message ended with a chilling warning. If something happened to her, it wouldn't be by her own hand. It would be an act meant to silence her truth. Candace amplified that sentiment, saying, "Yes, we hear you. We understand exactly what you're saying." But she didn't stop there. Days later, Candace took to Instagram with another bombshell, this time accusing the FBI of fabricating evidence in the Tyler Robinson investigation. She claimed that the surveillance photos released of Tyler supposedly leaving a rooftop weren't authentic, and that the story about his own parents turning him into federal authorities was completely false. In her post, Candace wrote that she felt an urgent need to break the story immediately because waiting could be dangerous. She said she had verified the information but couldn't name her source, then added, "Tyler Robinson is not suicidal." That entire narrative was planted. The public has been fed fiction. Her words rippled across the internet, reigniting public distrust and deepening the mystery surrounding the case. According to Candace, the official story surrounding Tyler Robinson completely falls apart under scrutiny. She claimed that the narrative about his father turning him in after a so-called confession was pure fabrication, something the government concocted to make the case appear airtight. In reality, she said, Tyler has consistently maintained his innocence and, contrary to reports, has never even set foot on the UVU campus. That's why, she argued, investigators have failed to produce any legitimate footage or photos linking him to the scene, only a single blurry image that his family insists isn't him. Candace went on to emphasize that Tyler has never once displayed suicidal tendencies, calling the federal government's version of events a complete lie, aside from the detail that the firearm in question did belong to him. She also dismissed the so-called Discord messages attributed to Tyler, claiming they were fabricated to fit the official story. "Let me make this clear," she wrote. "The entire suicide narrative and the claim that his father turned him in after discovering his guilt is a federal invention." Candace painted a drastically different picture from what the media has been pushing. Contrary to reports claiming Tyler's father realized his son was guilty and enlisted a friend to convince him to turn himself in, Candace said the reality is the exact opposite. Tyler's parents don't believe he committed the crime at all. Media outlets had framed the story as a dramatic moral reckoning, with a mysterious friend guiding Tyler toward confession, but according to Candace, that narrative was entirely manufactured. In truth, Tyler has never even set foot on UVU's campus. He was actually enrolled at Utah State University, not Utah Valley. This raises serious questions about how he could have navigated the UVU campus, or its rooftops, so precisely, as reports claimed, if he had no familiarity with the location. To further challenge the official timeline, Candace shared a photo of Tyler at a Dairy Queen around 6:38 p.m., looking completely relaxed. The restaurant is a 15 to 17-minute drive from UVU, the site of Charlie's death, casting additional doubt on the logistics of the supposed crime and contradicting the story the media has been circulating. Candace flagged something odd. Tyler was spotted in the same maroon t-shirt and cap after the incident, never changing clothes, which, she argues, is strange because someone who just committed a violent crime would likely swap outfits to avoid being recognized. Instead, he looked like any other person having a normal day, and then suddenly found himself swept up in a nightmare. Candace suggests this can happen when a handful of panicked texts ripple outward. One friend messages another, the neighborhood gets wind, and before anyone can think straight, the whole story spirals out of control.
Sometimes things don't go as planned. Because before people realize they have anything, or maybe when they're trying to reach out to the feds, they're texting a friend who texts a friend, and the next thing you know...
According to Candace, a photo circulating across town and landing repeatedly in her tip line appears to show Tyler Robinson at a nearby Dairy Queen around 6:38 p.m., just minutes after the alleged shooting. She pointed out how strange the picture looked. Tyler seemed calm, even relaxed, casually dressed in the same maroon shirt and jeans said to match parts of two different reported outfits from that day. If you'd just committed a crime, she argued, why wouldn't you change clothes or hide your face? The Dairy Queen, she noted, was about a 15 to 17-minute drive from the UVU campus, meaning there should be security footage of his car traveling back and forth, yet none has surfaced. What disturbed her most wasn't just his demeanor, but what she called inconsistencies in the timeline. Candace then shared footage allegedly showing two unidentified men tampering with the scene shortly after Charlie's death, moving a chair and taking down the camera position behind him. That's a major red flag, she said. You don't touch anything at a crime scene. Ever. Candace argued that what happened after the shooting raised even more red flags. In the footage she analyzed, one man can be seen removing the camera position directly above Charlie, one that could have captured crucial angles of the incident. He then appears to place it on a nearby desk and possibly remove its SIM card. You don't move anything at a crime scene, Candace stressed. That camera could have told us everything. She further challenged the official story that Charlie was shot from a rooftop, insisting the trajectory and wound pattern didn't match a long-range rifle. A shot from that distance, she noted, would have exited cleanly or caused multiple punctures due to the bullet's velocity, neither of which were present. Instead, she claimed the evidence pointed to a close-range attack. Curiously, even without being directly accused, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu publicly commented on the matter, confirming that the bullet entered from the front and lodged in Charlie's neck without exiting, a detail that, Candace argued, reinforced her theory more than it refuted it. Candace went on to reveal that she'd verified the exact location where the bullet fragment was found, something she had held onto for over a week. According to her research, the fragment was lodged near the center of Charlie's back, roughly in line with the shoulder blade and close to the spine. That detail, she argued, paints a clearer picture of the bullet's trajectory. It entered from the front and stopped midline, never exiting. As this theory gained traction, confusion deepened online about whether the man seen in certain clips was truly Charlie. In response, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu took to the airwaves, calling the rumors that Israel had any connection to Charlie's death a monstrous lie. He praised Charlie as a once-in-a-generation voice for faith, freedom, and Judeo-Christian values, recalling letters in which Charlie expressed deep admiration for Israel and the Jewish people. Candace, meanwhile, stood by her claims, suggesting that powerful forces might now be trying to discredit her, not through physical threats, but by painting her as unstable, a tactic often used, she said, when public figures begin asking the wrong questions. Back in 2005, Dave Chappelle found himself caught in a whirlwind that nearly destroyed his career and his peace of mind. After walking away from a massive $50 million deal with Comedy Central, rumors spread like wildfire that he had lost his sanity. Headlines branded him unstable, even addicted, forcing him to flee to South Africa for safety. But in an interview with the New York Times, Chappelle set the record straight. I'm not crazy. I'm not smoking crack. I'm just overwhelmed. Later, on the Oprah Winfrey Show, he revealed that the real reason he left was far darker. He feared for his life after refusing to compromise his values for money. He spoke about the eerie pattern he'd noticed in the entertainment industry. Stars like Mariah Carey or Martin Lawrence suddenly being labeled crazy right after reaching a new level of fame or power. Chappelle admitted he wasn't mentally ill, just deeply stressed, deliberately pushed to the edge, it seemed, until he decided to disappear without warning. Chappelle later revealed that during the height of the chaos, People around him tried to convince him he was mentally ill, pressuring him to take psychiatric medication he didn't believe he needed. "I was stressed, sure," he admitted, "but the ones calling me insane knew exactly what was happening." To him, it felt like an attempt to control or discredit him, and the experience left him wary and afraid. The ordeal serves as a cautionary tale, especially for public figures who speak too freely. Many are now warning that Candace Owens might be walking a similar path, that if she keeps digging, she could end up silenced or exiled like Chappelle once was. Social media is flooded with people praising her courage and doubting the official story. Some even speculate about hidden motives behind the power shifts following Charlie's death, with his wife now at the center. But one thing everyone agrees on: Candace's relentless pursuit of truth has the world watching closely, wondering just how far she's willing to go and how far they will go to stop her.